Welcome to the Love Spark podcast. We are your hosts, Tonya
and Stevi Maveros.
If you want to hear a Midwest millennial couple talk through real practice and exploration of relationship tools and resources,
and if you appreciate a bit of authentic and vulnerable commentary along the way,
then the Love Spark podcast is for you. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you are listening, as well as give us a 5-star rating and letting us know what you learned. It really helps out the show.
Also, don't forget to visit the website, milovespark.com, to check out upcoming events, workshops, and opportunities to ask us questions.
You can also follow us at Love Spark Dates on Instagram and Facebook.
All right, let's dive into this week's chapter of The 7 Principles of Making Marriage Work by Dr. John Gottman and Nan Silver.
So here we are. We are coming up to the final episodes of season 1, where we cover the 7 principles for making marriage work. And this is principle 7, which is also chapter 12, creating shared meaning. And so I'm actually excited because this, I think, is by far my favorite chapter. And I am pretty confident in saying that this is probably one of the things we talk about the most frequently within our relationship.
I would say yes, only because we both have such an interest in psychology and sociology that those are subjects that we discuss quite often.
So yes, one of my favorite topics, and you're right, we do talk about psychology and sociology quite a bit. And as we do with all episodes, well, a lot of episodes, not all of them, I'm going to start with reading a passage. Also, for those of you that are like, oh my God, she sounds like crap. I do sound like crap. This is a holdover from creating our vegetable garden.
Yes, Tanya's lungs did not appreciate the amount of yard material we were moving.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Start us off with a reading, my love.
With a reading. So this is the beginning of chapter 12. We used to have a yuppie marriage, says Helen. By that, I mean it was very superficial. We got along okay and really loved each other, but I didn't feel that connected to Kevin. It was like we were roommates who made love. Helen, a devout feminist, had always prided herself on independence. At first, she thought it was great and that she and Kevin had their whole lives, separate careers, interests, and friends. But the longer they were married, and especially after they had children, the more she felt something was lacking. She didn't want to give up her strong sense of individual identity, but she wanted more from her marriage. After attending our workshop, she realized what it was. She wanted to feel more like she and Kevin were a family. If your marriage adheres to my first 6 principles, there's a good chance that your relationship is stable and happy. But if you find yourself asking, is that all there is? Your situation may be similar to Helen and Kevin's. What may be missing is a deeper sense of shared meaning. Marriage isn't about raising kids, splitting chores, and making love. It can also have a spiritual dimension that has to do with creating an inner life together. A culture rich with symbols and rituals, and an appreciation for your roles and goals that link you and that lead you to understand you as a family.
Indeed. So, shared meaning. I mean, I think one thing that I would like to point out is that I think a lot of people fall into believing that you have to have a deep shared meanings just to be in a relationship.
Okay.
And I don't think that that's necessarily true. I think that that's the issue that we see with Married at First Sight. Is that, these are people who are committed to the idea of marriage to the degree that they're willing to let someone else pick a spouse for them.
Yeah.
you're not going to have shared meaning with
Mhm.
that person. So having an expectation of shared meaning is silly. That does not mean that you can't have a successful marriage or even
Mhm.
a good marriage. Like, what was her name? Like Helen said, a
They were
yuppie marriage. It was just superficial,
yeah.
right? Because you can operate day to day without shared meaning as long as you're working towards the same goals and have an
Mhm.
agreed upon way of going about getting towards those goals, or as long
Yeah.
as you agree on how to get where you're trying to go, you don't necessarily need a lot of shared meaning. However, I think we live in such an individualistic society that we've gotten kind of away from actually being able to have relationships like that.
Well, I think the other thing about for like this example with Married at First Sight is that I wish I could. I never, ever, ever can remember this word, and it's Portuguese. And it's that example about how you can grieve something that you've never had,
Mm,
right?
mhm.
I think with Married at First Sight, it's kind of the same context, is that they instinctively, whether that is biology, whether that's evolution, because we've always lived in these tight knit tribes for most of our human history, I think there is this underlying desire to have shared meaning,
Mm,
and they just don't really have the words to express it when they're going through the process. Because when you look at the process they go through, they are ticking all the boxes. They're asking all the
yeah.
right questions. They do get into some of those shared meaning questions. I just think sometimes that people don't recognize that's really what it is they're looking for until they
Yeah.
don't have it. Because
Right.
how many times in that show are people like, this person, they're great on paper. Everything about them on paper
Yep.
works out.
Mhm.
We get along well together, but something's missing.
Yes, and it is this depth, this deeper
Yeah.
connectedness.
But you are right. You don't necessarily have to have that deeper shared meaning to have a good relationship. The only difference is you both have to be on the same page of
Mhm.
understanding that you're okay with that.
Yeah, I would say that having shared meaning has a dual purpose. And in that, A, purpose just to have that deeper
Yeah.
connectedness.
One thing I was thinking about not too just a couple of seconds ago was that while there are so many things that cause the end of a relationship or the end of a marriage, I will say in my last marriage, I think this is one of the okay, really quite frankly, every one of these principles was no longer
Yeah.
adhered to, and the four horsemen had
Moved
they
in
moved
and
in,
they
they
had
were
their
eating our
stables.
food, they were the horses were eating the grass. It was a lovely time. But I will say this is one of the big things is that we had lost the shared meaning. And when I looked back on it, when we first got together, we talked about shared meaning and what our future would look like, and what we wanted and all those different things. And what it came down to is we had accomplished the things.
Mm.
I feel like once we had accomplished the things, right?
You didn't make new goals.
Right. We got together. We moved out of a really crappy town. We got better jobs. We made it through two war deployments. We moved into a cute little suburb and a great house. And that's kind of where it all stopped because we had accomplished
The American
the
dream.
American dream.
You had your suburban
Yeah.
middle class family home and your giant TV and your two-car garage and your dog
Yeah.
and your kid, and done. Now
Well,
what?
we were done. And then I started asking what
Yeah.
comes next. And that's where it really fell apart.
Yeah.
Because I think for him, there wasn't any. That was it. This was it. We should just be living
Yeah.
this amazing American dream. But I was like, but there's still a lot more life left. So I think that it's really important to have these conversations
Mm.
frequently.
Yeah.
Um, and sometimes that might mean actually having to specifically sit down and make time to have them.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's it helps avoid ending up feeling stagnant in misery if you can consistently revisit the actual direction of your life. I
Yeah.
think a lot of us kind of set the direction of our life before we really know what we want out of things.
Mm-hmm.
And we just keep heading in that direction without ever reevaluating, or
Yeah.
we don't reevaluate consistently enough
Mm-hmm.
to keep ourselves out of miserable situations, right?
Yeah.
Like we should have reevaluated months ago your job and you
Yeah.
staying where you were
Yeah.
during your day job.
Yeah.
We should have been reevaluating that probably a year ago,
That's
but
super true.
we just didn't think about it because things were just kind of trucking along, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we did have a lot of other stuff going on, but when it's not a habit, it can be so easy to fall into those, and then we end up in a situation like you and I did where all of a sudden you're in a position where it's like, oh, I have to make a decision if I'm going to make a change in my life right now or if I'm going to decide to stay on this path that I'm not happy on.
Yeah.
Like you really, and those times in life very unfortunately creep up on you if you're not paying attention, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I think too the other thing is that you get so comfortable that
Mm-hmm.
in some ways you get comfortable in the misery,
Yeah.
and it then becomes the monster you know or the monster you don't,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And a lot of people,
Changing jobs, great example.
yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of people are like, I don't want to face that fear. I already know what
Mm-hmm.
to expect. I have my routine and everything like that, so
I already know all the
I don't
ways
want
in
to
which my
rock the
manager
boat.
sucks. Yeah.
I basically know that my manager sucks.
No, I know all the ways that my manager
Oh,
sucks.
yeah,
When you
right.
get a new manager, you have to learn all the ways that that manager sucks.
That's true. That's true. So let's dive into this. Do you want to read us our first page of the workbook? So while you're getting that open, I do want to say that the workbook itself, it covers the four pillars that we're going to talk about, but the book explicitly states that this is not meant to be done in a day or in a month, that these are things that you should take the time to really think and contemplate on. So, what we're going to actually do is we're going to actually go through the true or false questions that are in the book to see what we align on and maybe what we
Mm.
don't. And then we'll share our two of the four pillars that we did actually fill in for today. Because the first one's
Yes.
relatively simple.
Yeah. Yeah. Chapter 12 in the workbook, create shared meaning. They also kind of refer to this as developing a culture in your relationship.
I love that.
Yeah, I really like that
I
too
really
because
love
it's
that.
they're not wrong. It is a microculture.
It
Your
really
household
is.
is a microculture.
100%.
All right. So, developing a culture in one's relationship doesn't mean a couple sees eye to eye on every aspect of their life's philosophy. Instead, there is a meshing. They find a way of honoring each other's dreams, even if they don't always share them. The culture that they develop together incorporates both of their dreams, and it's flexible enough to change as husband and wife grow and develop. When a marriage has this shared sense of meaning, conflict is much less intense and perpetual problems are unlikely to lead to gridlock. The more you speak candidly and respectfully with each other, the more likely there is to be a blending of your sense of meaning. A crucial goal of any marriage, therefore, is to create an atmosphere that encourages each person to talk honestly about his or her convictions. Your marriage can work even if your dreams aren't in sync. It is important to accept that you each will probably have some dreams that the other doesn't share but can respect. It is also true that a rewarding marriage is about more than sidestepping conflict. The more you can agree about the fundamentals in life, the richer, more profound, and, in a sense, easier your marriage is likely to be.
Right? I love that a rewarding marriage is more than sidestepping conflict.
Mm,
Okay.
yes. Yes, it is.
So,
So, in Dr. Gottman's work with couples, he identified 4 critical pillars of shared meaning.
the four pillars that we all can work on are creating rituals of connection, roles, goals, and values.
Yes. Yes.
You want to get to our true or false
Oh
questions
my
of
goodness.
rituals?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
So, shared meaning in the book, there is a questionnaire about your rituals of connection, and it's a true false questionnaire, asking basically about whether you see eye to eye on specific rituals. Do you want to read the statements and then we can true false at the same time?
Yep, absolutely. Okay, question. Hold on. Let me take off my glasses. We see eye to eye about the rituals that involve family dinner times in our home. False.
False.
Okay. All right. Do you want to dive into that a little bit?
We don't really have a ritual around family meals.
We really don't.
And I think I've actually spoken about how odd that I find it that we really don't have any rituals. And I just find it odd because it is one of the spaces, meal sharing is one of the spaces which multiculturally is considered a connective time.
Hmm.
So I just find it very interesting that that is not.
Yeah, I would say that for the household that you grew up in, that was something that was very common for you. I feel like you talk about that quite frequently. For me, that was not so common. And then
Mm,
when we did create our own family, it was something I really tried to implement, but to no avail. And so
mm,
I gave up. But
mm.
it is something that I'm very open to doing with you if you would like.
Okay.
Okay. Holiday meals like Thanksgiving, Christmas, Passover are very special and happy times for us, or we both hate them.
False.
True.
Interesting. I said false because it specified holiday meals, and while we do have rituals around the holidays, we don't have rituals around meals, even when it comes to the
I mean,
holidays.
we do. We had Friendsgiving. We did Thanksgiving at your, right? Was it Thanksgiving? We had Thanksgiving at your parents' house almost every year, but last year. We've had Christmas with your family. We've had Christmas with my family. Well, we don't really do meals with my family. So that's why I said yes. That
Oh,
outside of last year, we've been very consistent about holiday meals.
I guess to me, like the holidays, there's always food there, but the meal isn't really
Mm,
the meal's never been the focus. Even with like the way my family does Thanksgiving, there wasn't ever a dinner time, start time,
that's
right?
true.
It's
You
a
know what's
very buffet, come as you like the meal is never the
oh,
centerpiece.
I guess I don't really look so that's really fascinating. See, folks, this is why we have
Shared
to have these
meaning.
conversations.
Yes.
Just like
Get into
we talk
it.
about this all the time, contentment, right?
Mhm.
Because to me that is partially a meal. Like even as a kid, we never all sat down together. It was kind of like a come and go because people were busy. Even within Sean's family, like
That's snacking.
there
That's
even
not meal.
even within Sean's family, there were so many of us that it was really hard
Mm,
to all sit down together. So they
mm,
were like, you know, little kids tables and stuff. And we did. There were a couple of times like we'd go around the table and say what we were thankful for, like at Thanksgiving.
mhm.
Christmas was a whole different deal. So that's why I said yes, is because like I don't look at it like that movie traditional big table the meal is the
With the
it's
place settings.
yeah, it's all about just the gathering and getting together because that's what the food does. It's not about the food, it's about bringing people together, whether it's at the table all at once or in and out and buzzing around.
Maybe it's because I have experienced holiday meals that are very
Structured.
much the, yes, structured
Mm,
holiday, right? And I don't actually know if we've talked about this, but my family is very segmented
Yeah.
and segregated in a way. And so those holidays, the structured holidays, was my maternal grandfather's family.
Okay.
So Grandpa Jim's family would do structured holidays. And by structured, I mean like these people competed in the neighborhood Christmas lights competition,
Yeah.
like the place settings were planned and curated and color
Got it.
coordinated with the decor and
Yeah.
so like I have seen that, and the meal itself is a very specific thing. Like that is a thing on its own, right? Everything is kind of free form until you get to the meal, and that's when it becomes very ritualistic,
Mm,
right? As like the place settings, the tables, where the seating chart,
got it.
all of that.
So I guess my question is for our listeners,
Hmm.
drop in the comments, send us a message, wherever you're interacting with us. Let us know when it comes to family holiday meals. How does it roll within your family? Because
Mm.
I'm sure there are other people who are listening to this and they're like, what the hell are they talking about a family meal when you just come and go and grab your plate? And there are probably people who really experience holiday meals as very ritualistic like that.
Yeah.
Versus, so I love that.
Yeah, I would say that, like, for me, early childhood holidays were more like that when we lived with my grandparents. But when my mom eventually remarried, because we had such an intermixed family, it became very much like come when you show up, eat, grab a plate when you get
Ooh,
here.
so
The
this,
flexibility was almost required at that point.
okay. End of the day reunions in our home are generally special times. True.
True. Absolutely true.
We see eye to eye about the role of TV in our home.
True.
False.
Really?
Really? Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. Huh.
Is that because uh the way you relate to TV has changed so much since we got together?
What do you mean?
Well, because I remember like when the first time you came over to my house, like the fact that I didn't have a TV in the living room was mind-boggling.
Mm,
And from that point, that kind of almost like you realize that you don't have to set your house up that way. And so like you just moved really away from the TV culture that you had been in your previous family.
yeah.
And I just feel like our TV culture is very different from what you had in the past,
Mm.
but I didn't necessarily feel like we saw it differently, just that you've changed your perspective on
Um,
it a lot.
I think I put false because I think that I still do a lot of TV viewing, but at the
Mhm.
same time, when I think about it too, like, so now that I don't work there, I watched so much fucking Netflix working from home. But
Fair.
here's the thing. I also didn't
Yeah, you
as
didn't
a
watch it.
right, yeah, as a neurospicy person, I can have TV on in the background and still
Mhm.
fully work submersively and like pay attention at the same time. But
Mhm.
what I will say is I can't do that with music. If music is
Mm.
on, I will be listening to it and I will be
Mm.
enjoying it. So I don't do that.
Interesting.
But I think I picked false because I still do a lot of TV watching.
You just mean because I don't watch TV by myself?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I feel like because when we do eat, I guess our ritual at this point is we eat and we watch relationship shows versus eating a family meal. And I feel like that's very different. And I feel like you wouldn't probably normally do that if it weren't for me having brought that bad habit.
I don't know. Well, because here's the thing, right? Is like before you and I got together, I always had a show playing in the background because I didn't have anyone. It was dead silence
Mm,
otherwise, right?
hmm.
So, like, because I was completely alone and isolated, I consistently would have show. I always ate with TV on. I
Oh,
always ate with TV on because eating by yourself is depressing.
I always
So,
eat with TV on because it's something I've always done as a kid, as a latchkey kid. So yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I guess we are on the same page then.
Yeah, the way I read the question, reason I said that we do see eye to eye is because I looked at it as the role of TV in our home,
Mm,
right? Like we still don't have a TV like as a centerpiece in our home,
no, we don't.
even though you frequently use that as your entertainment. It's still not like in our home it's important to have a TV, in the living room that's a
Yeah.
55 or whatever. I'm
Yeah.
sure 55 inches is considered small now, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I
So I
got
guess
you.
the way that I viewed the question was more about how we interact with the TV as a household
Okay.
and less as individuals, because like we do most of our viewing. I do all of my viewing as a joint adventure
That's fair.
endeavor,
Okay.
a joint
Fair enough.
endeavor. So, yeah, TVs are for meal times.
Okay. Bedtimes are generally good times for being close. True.
True.
Okay. Uh
Well,
during
if we weren't close during bedtimes, that'd be fucking lame. I'm not
Hey,
trying to be
listen, Dr. Pepper and her man are not close during bedtimes and is working for them.
because
So,
they live in their own houses.
not
We
knocking it.
we don't know if they go to bed together, if they don't go to bed
Oh my
together,
god,
you
maybe they
know?
do what the new kids do and they fall asleep with each other on the phone.
Maybe
That is y'all, if you have not heard this, are they Gen Z or Alpha? I don't fucking know,
alphas
but the kids in
probably.
high school
Alphas.
are falling asleep FaceTiming each other on the phone. They are running up your phone bills by
Baby, it's all
sleeping.
unlimited now.
Is it? Is that data truly unlimited?
Your long distance is gonna get out of hand. Their boyfriend lives in the next town over.
Stop it. Either way, they're running up your electricity when they
Oh
charging them
my
phones.
god, it's a battery.
Anyways,
Buy
it's
him a solar
weird.
charger, it'll be fine.
It's weird. And if you are somehow an alpha listening to this, it's weird. Stop. Okay.
You're ridiculous.
6. During the weekends, we do a lot of things together that we enjoy and value.
True.
True. We have the same values about entertaining in our home, having friends overs, parties, and so on.
True.
True. We both value or dislike special celebrations, birthdays, anniversaries, family reunions. True.
True.
When I become sick, I feel taken care of and loved by my spouse.
True.
True. Aw, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's the thing, baby. Even though you really don't like taking care of me when I'm unwell, it doesn't make you bad at it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
And
those
I
of you that don't know, when we first started dating,
mm,
I was like, listen, I'm not a caregiver.
no,
I
you're
will take
not.
care of you when you're sick, but I will not like it and I will not smile and I probably won't be super warm and nice about it.
Which is all very accurate. But still,
I do a good job.
and I think part of it is like I have only really experienced the two extremes before we got together of being taken care of when sick, which is either not being cared for at all and just taking care of yourself,
Hmm.
or having someone like just in your space fussing over you constantly to the point that it's like I wish I were by myself right now.
Ah, yes.
Like G Kate, I don't know what it is, but she wants really bad to be a good caregiver, but when I threw my back out and she was like, "I'll just stay with you." And then she just stared at me the whole time, and every time I moved, she'd go, "That looks like it hurts so much." That's not helpful. That is not helpful. Yeah, it
Yeah.
does hurt. I don't need comments on it.
So I do good. I take care of
You do
you. I
great.
don't like it, but I do all the
You
good
stay out of
things.
my space and you bring me everything I ask for. It's perfect.
Boom, done. I really look forward to and enjoy our vacations and the travel we do together. True.
True.
Spending our morning time together is special to us. True.
True.
Was that too
On
fast?
weekends.
On weekends.
I think we both were talking about weekends.
Yeah, fair. When we do errands together, we generally have a good time.
True.
True.
I just don't take you on the errands that you won't be a good time on.
Right? I'm always a good time at the hardware store.
Yeah, but I don't want taking you
Lesbians.
grocery shopping. It's
No.
not fun.
You know what? I think I would enjoy grocery shopping more when they finally build the Aldi close to our house.
I enjoyed taking you to Costco.
Oh my God.
That
It's
was
like,
fun.
you know why?
Why?
Because it's kind of like the hardware store.
I was gonna say because it's full of random shit,
And that, like the hardware
like the
store.
hardware store.
I mean, only Menards, because let's be honest, Lowe's is not really
They're
like
pretty
that.
straightforward,
Yeah.
but I do appreciate that. Like, if you're really into trains, building the little toy trains. If you're into
Mm-hmm.
toy trains, that's your place.
Menards?
Yeah,
Oh. We have ways of becoming renewed and refreshed when we are burned out or fatigued. True.
true.
All right. So our rituals are pretty good.
Hmm.
I will say when it comes to the workbook, because the workbook for Pillar 1, creating rituals of connection, select at least 2 important rituals of connection you'd like to strengthen in your relationship. For each ritual you choose, discuss why it is meaningful and important to you. Talk about whether it was celebrated during your childhood, and if so, whether you enjoyed your family's approach. Then discuss how you would like to implement this ritual between you and decide who is responsible for which aspects.
So, honestly, I feel like these are great date night
Oh my
conversations.
God, right?
Or even if you're not trying to go all out and have a full date night, if you are having a stay in together and hang out night, these are great conversation starters if you're ever at a loss for something to talk about or want to stay away from
Uh
logistics.
huh.
Which, I mean, you could fall a little into logistics talking about rituals, but in a way more fun way than normal.
True. So I'll be honest with you. I did not read these instructions, and I already circled the ones that we were good at. except for,
Oh,
except
but we're
for,
good at.
except for sex rituals. I did circle
Mm,
the ones that I would like more improvement on.
okay.
Oh,
So,
and rituals of communication.
So the workbook talks about creating rituals of connection, and then it breaks down different areas in which you would tend to have rituals. So they break it into 5 different categories: rituals around celebrations, around recreation, around communication, around everyday living, and sex rituals.
Mm,
So, for example, rituals around celebrations. What are your birthday rituals? What are your Sabbath rituals? What are your Christmas rituals? New Year's, whatever. Rituals around recreation, date night, dinner at home, hosting parties. What are the rituals associated with that? What do you always do? I know for our friend Jake, that is always hosting us, that part of his ritual for getting ready is always cleaning the house. Him and his husband do a divide and conquer day and clean the house before they have company. It's just something that they always do.
can we just talk about how fabulous they are?
Oh, they're
Oh, I
wonderful. I
love
love
him so
them.
much. Can we just talk about that? I look forward to the day when we can build our dream house so we can entertain people. I want to entertain people so badly. And our house, the way that it's segmented, is not fit for that.
That's true. I would totally have a duplex with a shared entertaining space in the middle, and then Jake could live on the other side.
Oh my God.
That
Can
would be
we?
amazing.
Jake, if you're listening to this, we're
You
just
better be
telling you what
listening
we're
to
going to
this.
do like 5 years from now.
Start saving. Don't worry, we'll let you put a pool in.
100%. As long as you're going to maintenance it.
um okay, and then rituals of communication. So daily appreciations, or uh dealing with bad news. What rituals do you have for doing that?
Hmm.
Are they intentional rituals, or have you just kind of fallen into a ritual without intending to? Rituals around everyday living, how we stay healthy, morning routines, and sex rituals, how we talk about it, how we say no, how we start.
Hmm.
those things. So those are the different categories.
Thank you for explaining that, baby.
What?
The categories.
Yeah, of course.
This is that moment of context.
It's what I'm so good at.
Truth.
Yes. So creating rituals of connection. So you said that what you did was actually circle ones you think we're good at.
I did.
Do you want to
Well, I
talk
did a
about
mix
those,
of
or
both a little bit.
do you want to talk about those, or do you want to pick a couple that we need to work on?
Let's pick a couple that we need to work on. We're so
Okay.
awesome at a lot of things, but we do have areas in which we need to grow.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay. What was the first ritual you feel like you would want to work on?
I just said it. Our sex rituals.
You said it to me. You didn't say it to everyone.
Our sex
Oh
rituals.
my goodness. That's not what I meant, but okay. Okay. So, specific initiating?
I think initiating is a big one right now.
Okay. So, you want to work on the initiation ritual for sex?
Yes, because I think that so we are in a space where so just a little bit of a backstory, life be life
Mhm.
and as it does,
Ugh,
and I
it's
think
been
a
life and
lot
so
of
hard.
people can relate to this where like it as with life you ebb and flow, sex ebbs and flows, but every once in a while when things kind of happen it gets to a space where you might lose the rhythm of the ebb and the flow, right? And so I
Yes.
think that we've moved into a little bit of a space based upon life in that we have lost that connection of really the ebb and flow. And so I feel like right now having an initiation ritual would be very helpful because I think that with the way that life has gone between both of us,
Hmm.
we have lost the ability in some ways to read the room, to
Yeah.
read the body language, because there have been a lot of times where we have each wanted to initiate having sex or we were both there, but we weren't expressing that openly enough, or
Hmm.
there was just hesitation of like, should I or shouldn't I? And so I think that coming up with a ritual right now for that would be very helpful.
Well, and I think additionally, for me, sometimes it feels like, I don't want to say ask, but like the idea of having sex
Hmm.
just comes out of nowhere. Like there's no build up to it. There's no working our way into it. Like it's just like, oh, do you want to? Kind of, and I think that for me, it's very hard to transition from like spending an hour talking about business or spending an hour where we're both just, in the same room, kind of doing our own thing, and then immediately jump to, do you want to have sex? With a ritual, I think that for me, it would actually help get more yes from me if there was like a process.
You know what's so fascinating about this
Do tell.
is that I find it interesting that you feel like there is no lead in, because to me it feels like that there has to be like this overt lead in, whereas there's so much flirting between us all the time at home that
Mm,
for me, that is part of the lead in between
mm,
the deep, passionate kisses that we have to the body touches that we do to the flirty eyes to the innuendos. Like for me, all of that is part of the build up and lead in. And so I guess not to say that all flirting has to lead to sex, but all of those things always make me want you. And so it just, then just 1 minute, I'm like, let's just fucking do this. Right. And so I find it very interesting. To me, it feels like your brain segments.
yeah.
Flirting is flirting. And then there has to be this other way that we initiate sex. And to me, flirting is initiation, but it doesn't always have to be. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense, and I do understand where you're
Yeah.
coming from with that. It's just not how my brain sees
I
it.
mean, I hear you.
It just
But I just want you to recognize that for me, it's not actually coming out of nowhere.
right,
But I
right.
understand what you're saying, that
What
flirting
am I
is
saying?
flirting
No, what I'm saying is that having a ritual helps address this issue.
Yes, I get that.
So I think that, yeah, having a all I'm saying is that I agree that I think the last 3 minutes was just me trying to say, yes, I agree that having an initiation ritual for sex would be very good for us.
No, it would be, but I feel like having this conversation is important because
Well,
I think that
yeah. That's
there are
why we're
probably
having it.
a lot of couples that are like, "Oh my god, yes, all the flirting is the sex." And some people are like, "It's just flirting."
Well, it's like people who don't really understand what Sting meant when he was like, I have sex with my wife for 8 hours. Like,
Oh
it
my god.
starts with, you know, connecting emotionally, checking on her, seeing how she's doing. And then it
Mhm.
goes to flirting. And, and it's everything counts as the act,
So
right?
basically, we're doing all of the things leading up to for the most part. We just don't have the switch to
Yes.
say green
Yeah.
light.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you think that initiation ritual should be?
Oh, goodness. I feel like really put on the spot now. I have no idea.
Okay.
I got not I
Okay, let
got
me
nothing.
let me rephrase this. Out of 3 ways, would you like it to be verbal? Would you like it to be physical? Or would you like it to be no, it can't be subtle. We know you don't do subtlety really well.
I do
Okay,
not
so
do
2
subtlety
ways.
well.
Would you like it to be verbal or would you like it to be physical?
Um Probably start verbal.
Okay. Do you when it comes to verbal, would you like it to be clinically avert or would you like it to be like a catchphrase or like a one-liner?
Mm. That's a really good
Ooh,
question.
I just thought of one.
Okay.
What if it were like so you said verbal first,
Mhm.
but you would be open to physical?
Yeah, absolutely.
What if it was like okay, coming up,
Mhm.
kissing up your neck to your ear
Mm.
and
Mhm.
saying something like I need you right now.
I like it, but the last bit saying I need you right now feels very pressurized.
What about I need you? Still too much pressure?
Make it a question.
Can I have you?
There you go.
Ooh,
I like it.
done.
Okay. Look, there we go. We're going to try that out.
I'm gonna try that out.
All right. And vice versa.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I
That
like
sounds so
that.
sexy. Like I always felt like I need you sounds really sexy, but like, can I have you? That
Yeah,
sounds so sexy.
I like it. I like it better.
Oh, hold on.
Like it a lot
I
better.
feel
Yeah, you
like
better write that down somewhere.
I was like, I feel like I shouldn't forget this, but I think I might forget this.
Yeah, if you can't tell, I'm usually the one who's saying no. It's a problem.
Is it a problem?
Kinda. Because I don't want to say no, and you don't want me to say no. So it's a problem. So I would say that, yeah, like I don't want to say no, but I've been struggling with the threshold, and I feel like this will help with that.
Okay. So the next ritual for this is how can we gently refuse lovemaking? So I will say that for me, we have gotten into a space where where I would ask a lot, and then there has
Mm,
been so much refusal that I've just gotten to a space where I don't ask
right.
and I let you initiate more for whenever
Hmm.
you're ready. And I would like to move back into a space of empowerment to be able to ask. But I do know for me, there has to be a really good gentle letdown because it does really very much feel like rejection.
So I really like this. So, what's the question?
Can I have you?
I'll tell you what you can have right
Oh my God, stop
now.
it.
No, but I think that that's a good refusal, right? Because
Yeah.
what you can have might be as much kissing as you want, or maybe what you can have is uh receiving a sex act, Or maybe what you can have is giving a sex act, or maybe everything's on the table. But I think that it helps in several ways, right?
Mhm.
Because A, it's not a no, because it's never a no, you can't have anything.
Mhm.
It's always like a, I don't know about taking it this far or
Yeah.
putting this into it or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And that leads to a no. And it really doesn't need to be a no. It can just be a, this is what I have to give right now,
Mhm. Yeah.
right? And so I think, you know, can I have you right now? And responding with, you can have my kisses, or, well, you can't have me, but can I have you? Or,
Yeah.
you know, yes, you can. Or,
Yes. Take all of me.
you can have my hands, or
Oh my God,
you
this
can have
gives me
my strap.
this gives me
I just,
yes, please. This gives me so many thoughts and feelings right
I'm
now.
sure it does.
Like you're listing all of the things I like. I'm like, ooh, let me decide which one I want today.
Yeah, but I think yeah, I think that'll work.
Okay.
At least it's something to try, right?
Yeah, I like that.
I
I
mean,
feel like that's a pretty I think this is I feel really good.
yeah.
It's a good thing it's a thing we've been talking about. It's something that
Yeah.
we have considered. We just have not
I mean, we
actually.
went to couples therapy because between the two of us, we were really struggling to find a way to move forward on this issue because we were struggling with ideas like this, right?
Yeah.
So I think a
We hadn't even
combination.
gotten to this spot yet.
We hadn't. So, and I think, I want to take a pause right here and just say that sometimes couples therapy really can just be getting a professional to help you work on one problem. It doesn't mean that you're in crisis.
Thank you.
Um, I would also like to take a moment to say that sometimes the solution isn't going to be found in therapy.
True.
Sometimes you just gotta work through it. I mean, we've been working through this for months and we've tried different things and
Mhm.
whatnot. And not to say that this is 100% gonna be the solution,
Yeah.
but I'm glad that our audience got to hear us work through the problem and find something to at least start trying.
Yeah. Well, I think the other thing too is like one thing that I'm a firm believer of is that your therapist should be having a therapist,
Well, yeah,
right? And so I think for us as a couple who started our relationship naturally with
very
all of this
intentionally.
work, very intentional, and
Yeah.
naturally had all these principles,
Mhm.
for us, because we do this constantly, sometimes we have to even take a deeper dive by
Yeah.
working with a therapist
Mhm.
because this is our everyday. This is
Yeah.
how we always operate. And
This is
so
how we talk to each
we do
other.
need that outside perspective to get a little deeper sometimes.
Well, and I will say specifically our couples therapist, she is very good at stopping us and calling us out on our language, like
Yes.
specifically the way that we word things to each other.
Mhm.
She will stop us and say, like, I know that your partner didn't take it this way, but that sounds pretty whatever. I need you to
Yeah.
rephrase that.
Yeah.
Right? And she's very good at kind of holding us accountable within our conversations in
Mhm.
a way that is very difficult for us because we do have a dynamic already established.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's good to have someone there just to challenge the established dynamic.
That's one of the things that is really great is that in working with us, there's a lot of different options to do that. So head to milovespark.com and you're going to click on the respective link, whether you're single or whether you're a couple, but you're going to click on that link and you're going to be able to see how you can work with us. Half day workshops where you just dive into the principles. Maybe
Hmm.
this is the first time you're coming into intentional relationship work.
Yeah.
And so therapy might seem like real heavy, real big. And the other thing about therapy too is that it's so free flowing that could be
Yeah.
a little intimidating for people. So being able to come in under the 7 principles with structure,
Yes.
it gives you a specific focus. You know specifically what you're supposed to work
Mhm.
on. It gives you specific tools, which can be
Yeah.
very, very helpful for people, especially when they're new to relationship work. Same thing for the full day workshop. If, let's say, you're like, yeah, we feel like we're pretty good in some of these areas, but we want to get a little bit fuller, a little bit deeper, that's a great day for a full day.
Yeah.
But the private one-on-one sessions, this is where you get the best of both worlds, where you get that structure, you get the principles, you get the specific homework, you get to see what the specific outcomes are supposed to be.
But then you get that additional intensive guiding
Yes.
and the intensive actual third party to help walk you through it and make sure you're staying on track every step of the way.
Yep. And you can also add specific things that you want to work on within the 7 principles. So, for
Mhm.
instance, if you are struggling with domestic household responsibilities, we're going to
Mhm.
do the 7 principles and we're going to see a little bit of everything, but we're going to put a little bit more focus in the domestic area as we talk about those 7 principles. Or
Absolutely.
maybe it's money and finances and you're struggling with having those conversations.
Mhm.
How can we use these principles
Yeah.
as a general overview, but put slightly a little bit more focus within that money conversation or even the
Right.
sex conversation? And
Right.
so I think it's just important for people to recognize that there are so many different avenues of
Mhm.
work for intentional relationship work, but this
Yeah.
is how we utilize it with our client base. You can head to milovespark.com and find all the options there as well. You can also even fill out our application to join us on the podcast because we're looking to be able to chat with some couples here about being in healthy relationships or working through some struggles as well.
Absolutely. And I mean even this, if your main, issue that you're coming in to talk to us about is that you guys just can't get on the same page about finances, well, guess what? The rituals around celebrations and birthdays, maybe that just sits down with a budget meeting.
Yeah.
That's the first part of your ritual. If finances are your main issue between you and your spouse, that's the lens that we'll use to walk you through the problems. We'll use your lens and
Hmm.
we'll utilize these processes with your lens to walk you through your issues.
Very well said, my love.
Thank you.
All right, so that was pillar one. So we got pillar two. We're just going to go through the true or false real quick because we're coming up at the end of time. But pillar two is really about supporting each other's roles. And so the question is, to get a sense of how well you create shared meaning by supporting each other's roles, read the following statements for true or false. We
Mm,
share we share many similar values in our roles as parents. True.
false.
Okay. We share many similar values in our roles as spouses.
True.
True. We have many similar views about what it means to be a good friend to others.
True.
False.
Okay.
Okay. My partner and I have compatible views about the role of work in one's life.
False.
False. My partner and I have similar philosophies about balancing work and family life.
True.
True. My partner supports what I see as my basic mission in life.
True.
True. My partner shares my views on the importance of family and kin, sisters, brothers, moms, dads, in our life together. True.
True.
Okay.
I think it's really funny that we had different answers for uh our views of the role of work in one's life versus still having similar philosophies about balancing work and life.
Oh,
I think it's funny because we agreed that we have similar philosophies about balancing work and family life, but we did not agree on if we had compatible views of the role of work in our life,
hmm.
which I just find very
That is very
fascinating.
fascinating. I mean, honestly, though, I it is, but it isn't because even though the way we view work is different, we are both very, very clear
Mm,
about how it needs to be balanced. It is
yes.
something we actually do talk about very consistently,
Well, I
which
think
is also why I'm surprised I worked where I worked as long as I did.
same. Um, yeah, I think it is interesting because balance on its own is a strong value for us.
Mhm.
And so I just think it's not surprising, but it
Yeah.
is interesting.
Yeah, I will say, like, people use the word balance. I've always felt more akin to the word harmony.
I like that better actually.
No, thank you.
All right. So,
Uh,
supporting each other's roles. So, in the workbook, it says, the more you can talk frankly to each other about your deeply held views about your roles in life, the more likely you are to reach a consensus that makes sense and comes naturally to your family. So, there are several common roles listed, and there are a number of questions to be asked about any of these roles listed,
mhm, mhm.
right? So, the roles being, for example, partner, parent, child, sibling, professional, friend, community member, so on and so forth,
Yeah.
right? So you chose a specific role that you answered these questions about. What role did you choose?
Uh, Professional, primarily an entrepreneur.
Okay. The first question, what does this role mean to you?
Okay, before I answer this, can I just say I feel like we have done a very good job. We don't really talk very much about the business within the podcast for the most part,
True.
right? But I really
Today
like
being kind of the exception, but
today's the exception because this is about shared meaning.
yeah.
And it actually makes me feel good to be able to talk about this because I am so passionate about it, which is
Mhm.
why that is what I picked. I will say, even as a partner, even as a mother and a daughter, the one role that I have above all else for me is an entrepreneur. And the reason for this is because it means that I am leaving a lasting legacy and helping people along the way.
Mm.
Growing up in the family that I grew up in, having generational poverty, the likelihood that I would have viewed something like this is very, very low. A lot of times, especially when you grow up in a state like that, it's very easy to
Mhm.
fall into that's just life, that's just normal, that's what we
Mm.
do.
Yeah.
And so, for whatever reason, not having that viewpoint,
Mm.
even as a young child,
Yeah.
it means a lot to me to be able to change each person, to change families, to change communities. And I grew up in a family which had generational poverty,
Mhm.
generational abuse,
Mhm.
generational trauma, as a lot of people have. And so for me to be able to give to others the understanding of how to build healthy, lasting relationships, and they can pass down these intentional habits, attitudes, and behaviors to their own family. And it doesn't even have to be your own kids. You could be your auntie, you could be an auntie and uncle, you could be the grandparents, you could be a cousin, right? We don't have to have our own kids to be able to pass down that generational information. And so for me, that's why it is super important for me to be in this role.
Mm. Okay. So, how was this role modeled to you by your family of origin?
It wasn't.
Good
So
answer. No, I just.
it wasn't.
Mhm.
So it is new. It
The
is,
antithesis was modeled to you.
yes. And in coming to my first marriage, so when it comes to the speaking engagement and workshops that I do, this is what I talk about is that my role models all came from media. It was the
Mhm.
90s, so we didn't have social. It was TV and movies and films and
Ah, being a latchkey kid.
being a latchkey kid. And so this is what I thought it meant to have a family. And because of that, It was a family I created, but as a growing real life adult, I recognized it was not the family dynamics that I
Mm.
actually wanted.
Family dynamics or life dynamics?
They are.
Life dynamics that you didn't want. Mm,
Exactly.
solid. All right, question 3. How would you like this role to function in your relationship?
I think right now it's functioning as it is meant to be. I love that we get to share our journey together as a couple and how we navigate things, especially because I know you also did not grow up in a household that had a lot of healthy relationship dynamics as well modeled for
Mm-hmm.
you. But at the end of the day, my goal in the role of this within our relationship is that this is going to allow you
Mm,
to be able to really find your own personal passion and the thing that it is you want to do, whether that
yeah,
is to build a bigger legacy or whether that is to be a wonderful house butch, whatever.
fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair enough. Okay. What are the ways your relationship already supports you in this role?
you're hearing it. Our relationship is my inspiration.
Of
It was the spark.
love spark.
Yes.
It wasn't the love. Ha ha! Gotcha on that one, didn't I?
Rude.
With love, sweetness, with love.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, I would say as your partner, as the partner to your entrepreneur, I I just love, I guess for me, I do see entrepreneur as part of your identity. And because I understand that it's part of your identity, I'm more than happy to support you in whatever ways I'm capable of supporting you in that endeavor because it's part of who you are. And I wouldn't love you the way that I do if it wasn't.
Aw, thanks,
So,
baby.
yeah,
I love you.
love you. Okay. What else can your relationship do to support you in this role?
Keep me grounded.
That I can do.
Yeah, you can.
That I can do. I can keep you grounded while simultaneously stopping you from being negative.
That's also fair. Stopping my spirals.
Stopping your spirals, but also reminding you to uh, come at things from a place of abundance, as we
Very
have
true.
discussed often.
Very true. Well, so we're coming up on time. Your last pillars are pillar 3 is shared goals, and pillar 4 is shared values and symbols. And like the book said, these are not meant to be done in a day or in a month. These are meant to be continued conversations through your relationship.
Absolutely.
We have,
This is a lifetime of conversation
yes,
right
it is.
here.
Yes, it is. We have one last episode for the 7 principles of making marriage work for you, which will close out season 1 of the Love Spark podcast.
Indeed.
Before we sign off, here is an upcoming opportunity from LoveSpark. Join us at Lansing Pride on June 27th from 1 to 9 p.m., and we'll have a special release just for Pride.
Once again, we want to thank all of our fabulous listeners for joining us this week on the Love Spark podcast. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button.
Along with subscribing, please remember to visit us at milovespark.com, follow us at Lovespark Dates on Instagram and Facebook, and join us again next week for another fabulous episode.
Indeed.